So 70 lawns, those two guys get those done, right? So they're not helping with that job, or are they?
No, and so they're only doing mowing, and then they landscape with me and usually two other guys when they're not mowing grass.
Gotcha.
And so it'll be interesting to see how this next year goes as far as landscaping, because I'll be available Monday through Friday from, sunrise to sunset, versus before, and during the school year, they were doing landscape jobs, and I was just kind of either meeting them after work and going over it, and then they would start it the next day.
Yep. So 70 lawns, and so the last time, the spring, you were still, in this spring, you were still at the school, right? You were still working, teaching, right? Am I correct?
Yes. And so, I was at the school until April. I actually quit just before the end of the school year.
Okay.
And so, but it was a point to where my business had blown up so much that I couldn't keep up with both. And
Gotcha.
So I made the decision to lose out on that money through the summer, because if I worked another month, I would have been paid up until August.
Gotcha. Okay.
But I decided not to, and then I quit.
Okay. So if you would have worked, you're saying if you would have worked till May, then they would have paid you all the way through August.
Correct.
Okay. Yeah, but you had another month there that you could have been working full time in the business, so you just decided, hey, I'm gonna quit now and focus on the business. So 70 yards. Have you seen? Are you trying to get more yards, or you're trying to add, like this year? Are you trying to add more yards, or are you trying to get more jobs?
So this year, I would like to go to 80.
Okay.
And so to 80 lawns 4 days a week.
Okay.
And so
and
20 a day.
One crew can do that, so basically 20 a day.
So one crew can do that, yeah.
Okay.
And I'm really big on route density, and so we don't drive any more than 8 miles.
Dude, you're speaking my language, man. You cannot make money cutting grass unless you're dense.
No.
You learn that the hard way, I think. Most people learn it the hard way. But you're correct, man.
And so that's the only way. Like, if they're in South Fayetteville or if they're in North Springdale, I get calls all the way up to Centerton, which is like 45 minutes from us.
Yeah.
I just say no, and I have another business that I just refer them to, and then vice versa. They get calls. I have several businesses. If they get calls in West Fayetteville or Farmington or Prairie Grove, they just send them my way.
Yeah, and that's what you have to do, right? Because when I took over 3 years ago from my dad, we were driving 45 minutes to a yard, right? And it's just not worth it. Like now we're in Cherville, and the city above us is like Munster and like Griffith, and we get calls all the time. Hey, can you do this? And when we tell them no, like we only go north of Cherville, they're like, well, it's only like 2 minutes. I'm like, we have to put a boundary. We have to put a boundary somewhere, and this is what we decided to go. And density, if you're paying 2 guys to drive 5 minutes between each yard, and they do 20 yards, dude, that's an hour they're spending just driving.
That's 2 hours.
Yeah, exactly. That's 2 hours. And if you cut that down to 30 seconds between each yard or a minute, dude, you save so much more time on man hours. You're not paying them to drive, so you have to do that when you're looking to grow. So you're trying to get to 80 yards, that reoccurring kind of revenue there.
Mm-hmm. For mowing, yeah.
Yep.
And so I would say that mowing's probably about 40% of our business.
Okay. All right. So and then so the other 60, is that actual like big landscape installs, or do you do like bushes, like small bushes for the customers you have, or like mulch?
So I would say probably about 40% of our business is mowing. Probably the other 20 or 25 is like bush trimming, leaves, and that kind of thing. And then the other, I guess, 30 left over or so would be like, here's a new construction home, design me a landscaping and put it in. As far as from a financial standpoint.
Yeah.
And so as far as the money of the business. And so I would say about 30 to 35% of our business comes from, as far as the revenue goes, comes from putting in something new. And so something new, whether that be a patio or trees